Got Jason Priester on the line, allclemson.com. The Tigers have the one ACC win. Now they get back into conference play, taking on Wake Forest on the road. Of course, Wake won the division last year, but Clemson had its best offensive performance of the season against Wake. And, you led me into the matchup last year and said, this is a bad matchup for Wake. They're a throwing team. This is what they rely on. Everything's Hartman and receivers. He scored 51 touchdowns last year. This is what they do. The defense isn't that good. The running game's okay. It's all quarterback and receivers. And, of course, with Clemson's pass rush, you're going to take a lot of that away by being in the quarterback's face all day. And you were right on the money on that one. It was one of Clemson's, it's kind of strange against the team that wins the division. They had one of their easiest wins of the season. Well, you called it last year. Jason, is this still pretty much the same matchup?
I think it is. I mean, barring Wes Goodwin just totally scrapping what's worked the last few years, I think this is a perfect matchup. If you look at Clemson's defense versus Wake Forest offense, they like to run that slow developing, mesh play that they call it, where Sam Hartman sticks it in the back's belly and he just holds it and holds it and holds it as long as he possibly can. And Clemson's typically blown that thing up, and everything the passing game kind of sets up off of that. And I just don't see that playing. Assuming they get all these guys back, I just don't see it playing out much differently. It's just such a perfect matchup. And that's not a knock on Wake. Football's a game of matchups. Sometimes you match up well, sometimes you don't. And I think this is just one of those games where Wake just does not match up well with Clemson. There's just too much speed on the defensive side of the ball. Clemson's even faster and more athletic at linebacker, albeit a little bit more inexperienced. I mean, I could be way off here, but I was surprised that the line only opened up at 7.5. I was thinking it was going to be 10.5, but it only opened up at 7.5, depending on where you look. But I'm gonna ride it until I'm wrong. I think Clemson covers that number.
Yeah, I'm going to stand by the statement I made when Hartman went down, and it's great that he's back and he had blood clot issues and that he's ready to roll, and he's come back and played really well for a couple weeks now, is that he may not be the best quarterback in the country, but there's a pretty good argument that he's the most valuable one, because if you go to Ohio State with C.J. Stroud or Alabama, Bryce Young, yeah, they're really great players that are going to be missed if they get hurt, but you're talking about teams that are just loaded with 4 and 5 stars. With Sam Hartman and Wake, this is what they do, is chuck the ball downfield. The dude accounted for 50 touchdowns last year. This is what they do. And so if he's not there and the receivers, this is pretty much all their success.
Yeah, it's kind of been fun watching Sam Hartman develop into this player that he's become, because he is really good. He's really accurate with the football. He knows that offense like the back of his hand. Wake really suffers if he's out. We saw that over their first 2 games. But Clemson's got to bring their A game, and if that pass rush is not as effective as it has been against Wake in the last few years, Hartman's going to pick you apart, especially with Clemson's secondary issues and some of those guys kind of learning on the job. That pass rush has not been as dominant, as we kind of were expecting it to be coming into the season. I think KJ Henry said yesterday that on average, quarterbacks were taking 1.8 seconds to get the ball out against Clemson. And he said Aaron Donald's not even getting to you that fast, But Wake likes to throw it down the field, so maybe we see, not so much of that. But yeah, I think this matchup comes down to Clemson's defensive line against Wake's offensive line, and I think that's advantage Clemson.
Yeah, Jason Priester here from allclemson.com. We love talking to Jason each and every week, setting you up on the Clemson game, but you can catch the entire scope of Jason's work there on allclemson.com on SI. Jason, we appreciate you stopping by. Enjoy the trip. Come back with a win.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do, man. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks.